And greetings, America. This is Patrick Grove coming at you from Common Sense Motors, where I've been basically a one-man think tank trying to use common sense, the basic application of common sense, which has been missing in action for decades, to fix the not only talk about the problems or bullet point issues of the day, but tell you how to fix them. Every day, the politicians come on talking about health care. They've been talking about health care for 50 years. Here at Common Sense Motors, we basically copied Canada. Problem solved. 50 years ago, if we'd have just copied Canada, we wouldn't have no problems today. In basic application of common sense. If the rich people paid their taxes for the last 50 years, the percentage of debt to income, amount of income according to what you should pay or more. Greed is a mental disorder causing rich folks to get dumber. The more money you have, the less common sense you have. That's why when you walk into the spot, there's a big, huge vaulted ceiling, and they're paying to heat and cool 3,300 square feet of unused, wasted space. That's how you know rich folks are stupid. They'll be paying for houses that they don't use, cars they don't use, don't drive, materialistic items. Can you eat a diamond or a watch or your phone? You can't. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We got high-speed trains missing in action for decades. Every country on the planet has some high-speed rail, and all this waiting in line at the airport and all. The train could run off of renewable energy with solar panels and hydroelectricity along the way. Now, hydroelectricity with no dams has been missing in action for decades. Personal power plants, everyone has a few solar panels, some batteries, some inverters, charger. You can make your own electricity for $500, $1,000. You can start making your own electricity. People have been programmed so long to pay their electric bill, they never think, instead of wasting money on a new fancy car, you could get you a off-the-grid personal power plant, even if you live in an apartment. The next thing is you'll be using your renewable personal power plant to grow groceries inside all year round. This has been something that's been missing for decades. All the abandoned warehouses in the inner cities and anywhere there's warehouses and unused space. If you got a closet that's unused, clear it out. Start growing groceries in your house all year round. These are the things that politicians should be telling people. If you're at or near sea level, you should move to higher ground. If there's a public service announcement to tell a person to get their child out the back of a hot car, why is there not a public service announcement telling people to move to higher ground? The next thing that's really has made me upset over the years is instead of digging in the earth for coal, and West Virginia is our neighbors, and the state of that state is really sad because decades ago, the coal unions, the people in charge, could have started putting batteries in people's houses and little solar panels and personal power plants and installing home renewable energy systems for people and let them make payments on all the equipment. And the reason why this has never been applied is because if everybody's making their own electricity, the power companies don't make no money. And then if you're smart enough to grow your own groceries, then, well, it's not really going to cut into the grocery store's money that much, but eventually it will. But if electricity goes off and you can't do anything but play and look at your phone, you've been so used to looking at your phone, you forgot that you should be making your own electricity and growing your own groceries. The devolution is the dumbing down of America. To follow a bucket of lies is proof that your IQ is really not that high. If you're gullible enough to follow a bucket of lies, it questions the intellect of today's society, because dumb is dangerous, especially if you're in power or even if you're not. Um, these kids are going around thinking that they're woke and would have never thought about making their own electricity and growing their own groceries or anything, this kind of thing. Um, the next thing I have to talk to you about is the automobile industry and the fact that we've been put to sleep by the auto industry. Leaf springs from horse and buggies, worse gas mileage than a Model T, fuel economy worse than a Model T. This type of thing is unacceptable, and we all love our Fords and our Dodges and our Chevys as they rapidly rust apart and fall apart before the end of the payment book. It's called predetermined obsolescence. And what I'm talking about is, besides the high-speed trains, we here in the United States, we can actually make the world's best vehicles by using tractor technology in a vehicle, in a small utility vehicles or small cars. If you use electric hydraulic or hydraulic regenerative braking systems, while you're driving, the wind that's over the vehicle could create electricity to charge the battery. These things should have been applied decades ago. Where is MIT? Where's all these so-called smart people? Stop worrying about outer space when a brother down the street needs a can of soup. This electoral college is proof that the level of intelligence of most people is way, way below. They can't see that the hypocrisy killed democracy. End of. The Russians didn't even need to fire one bullet. No gunpowder necessary. You can just put the people to sleep for decades by dumbing them down, by putting in the Facebook and the Twitter and the useless digital banter. And then while you're sleeping, they're over here raping and pillaging, putting chemicals in our water, can't drink your water, have that messing up the environment, removing all the EPA standards. It's basically committing genocide. All the poor people that are catching cancer from drinking the water, then the health companies makes money off of us having our diseases and fixing us. And then you can't have a car payment. Oh, here's your 4-year payment, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You're all programmed to have a payment. Everybody's programmed to have a payment book. Everybody's programmed to have a mortgage. Everybody's programmed to be in debt. Imagine having a little cabin in the woods with half the money you blew on nonsense and having it almost completely paid for, and being able to grow your own groceries and make your own electricity and having a spot. And why is it everybody in the concrete jungle in New York City, everybody loves in New York City. How come everybody there wants to have a place somewhere else? Oh, they got the Hamptons, they got the Jerseys, they got hi, everybody that roots for the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants. You can't even have a stadium in your backyard because of the concrete jungle. You can't even call your team, can't even watch your team in the state that you're from. That's why common sense is missing in action. Anyways, back to what's important. The commercials on the MSNBC talking about you can't be what is it? Being led down the primrose path of good common sense. There's plain code in the journalism, and the journalists at the MSNBC are sitting there talking about democracy is falling apart right under their noses, and instead of sending up red flags and saying people get ready for the end of democracy, they're just reporting on the end of democracy. We can't impeach the president because we don't have the report yet. Meanwhile, there's 5 other things that he could be impeached for. Just go over to one of his golf courses and oh, yep. If it was me or you, we'd be coming out the White House in handcuffs. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Donald Trump perp walk live on TV, the handcuffs and all, walking right out. Because that, if we committed half them crimes, we'd have been doing the perp walk. And you know it's true. And this is actually, Donald Trump is the bad karma that we deserve for being having hypocrisy replace democracy. You can't say freedom and then have slavery, and then have reservations, and then have internment camps for Japanese. You can't holler go around talking about justice and have the rich people go free and the poor people go to jail. Same charges, different outcome. If I'm lying, I'm flying. All right. This is your first episode of Patrick Grove and Common Sense Mode. Oh, what a somebody running for president should sound like.